Hello everyone, today we will do the lab 1. So to do that we have to create 3 virtual machines with the configuration that is given in this. We already created that. So the task 1 is creating AD domain and name this, and making them a VM2 and 3 its members. So to do that, first we have to install the Active Directory that we can install from here. Add roles, and we can add the Active Directory here, but I already did that. After doing that all, we have to go in we have to create a domain with this name. I already did that. After creating that domain, you will see your computer will restart and will go in your domain. Then you can see the name of the domain here. So to add the members, when we have to add VM3 and VM2 to this, we can just go in the VM2. So you have to click on this, change. Now we already added this to that domain, but before that it was on work group. Then you just have to click on the domain and type the domain name, and after that you have to put the credentials of that domain controller, and it will restart and it will become the member of that domain controller. And you also have to do this same thing with the VM3 to make that member. So to check that, we will go in the domain controller, tools, add active users and computers. We will go in the computers. Now here we can see that VM2 and VM3 are members of this domain controller. So the next task is creating users and groups and making them members or members of, and providing them permissions. So here we will create a user and to complete both standard and administrative work within the domain. So to do that, we just have to go in the domain controller and tools, Active Directory, users and computers. So these are the organizational units. Here we already created the organization in unit msync 5901. In this we can create the user from here or group from here. I already created the user Maninder Singh and a group IT staff. So when we go in the properties of the user, in the member of, so it is a member of IT staff, that group we created. And when we go in the properties of the group, so it is a member of domain admins. That means it has the permissions to do the administrative work. So Maninder Singh is a member of IT staff, so that means it also has the permissions of administrator, so it can also do the same work. We did this because if we have more than one user, it will be easy to change the permissions of all the users. So after that we have task 3, which is DHCP services, how we can configure that. To do that, first we have to install the DHCP, that how we did the Active Directory, we installed that. The DHCP we can easily install that in the same way, just by selecting the DHCP server. After installing the DHCP, we can just go in the DHCP. Here we can see our computer name, and under this we can see IPv4 and IPv6. When we click on the IPv4, we can create new scope. So we can just create new scope from here. We can give it name and the IP range. I show you how we given the IP ranges. We'll go in the address pool. Here we can see that I provided the range from 10.174.23.1 to 10.174.23.54. This is the IP range, but we excluded some of the IPs from this. Like we excluded the IP from 1 to 50. We excluded the first 50 addresses, and the last 20% of addresses we also excluded that. Approximately the last 20% of the addresses are from 214 to 254 that we excluded. We also created the some of the other scopes that we can see here. These are the scopes that we created. So this is the second scope, third and the fourth one with different IPs, but we just activated the first scope. So when we go in the VM3, we will go in the address, the network, and in its properties or details, we can see that it obtained the IP 10.174.23.51 from the pool that we created, the subnet that we provided, and it has a lease of 2 days that we provided in the scope. So IPv4 DHCP server is 10.174.23.41. That is the IP of our domain controller. So after that, the next part is, we did this part. So the next task is configuring DNS services. So to do that, we will go in the domain controller. We just have to install the DNS, like we installed DHCP and Active Directory, and after that we will go in the tools. Here you can see the DNS. So here you will see the forward lookup zones and the reverse lookup zones. In the reverse lookup zones, I created 4 networks that we used in the whole lab, and after creating that, we will go in the forward lookup zone, and in my domain I created one host www and a mail exchanger with the name mail, and with the priority 10. So after creating that, I also set the when I go in its properties, I also updated associated pointer record. So after that, I will go in the reverse lookup zones in my IP. I created the pointers with the different IPs by using the IPs of VM2 and the IP of domain controller and the third machine. After doing this all stuff, I can go in the command prompt where to check that. First I will type like www dot here we can see that we got the reply, and after this we will check the mail exchanger. We can see that the priority is 10, and we got the mail.msync5901.corp, and the mail exchanger is this mx.mail.msync5901.corp. the server is localhost. If we want to get this from the IP, we will just type ns lookup 10.174.23.42. now we can see that we can get this from the IP as well. After doing this all, we can also ping the machines from the IP addresses, like I got the reply. If we want to ping from their names, we can just do that as well. The name of this machine is 1A12275. /02. We got the reply. We can do this with all the machines that we created. So that is all for the task 4. So we completed all the tasks. So that is end of the video. Thanks for watching.